on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of CryptoZombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day today. It is definitely awesome to see Bitcoin finally back above the $40,000 level. Now, we have had an entire weekend and a day to sort of digest this price action, right? We have broken out of this descending, broadening wedge. However, the question is this just a dead cat bounce? And are we looking to potentially continue to go lower? Because obviously, even though we have had this beautiful move, we have still sort of put in, some lower highs, unless you look at this little guy right here. So the big question is this just a fake out, or is this the beginning of something massive? Well, I am going to give you my personal opinion as to what I think is going on, but regardless of what I think, I'm just a crazy guy on the internet. If we actually have a look at the technicals and what is happening right now in the Bitcoin chart, we can see an incredible similarity to what has previously happened, and it could give us some clues as to what to expect from Bitcoin. Also, we do see finally the fear and greed index moving back up into the greedy territory. Right now, we're still in the neutral territory. I think a lot of people are still trying to process what just happened for Bitcoin. I mean, you could see right here, essentially from the bottom to the top of the move, we did have a 38% move for Bitcoin. So I do want to talk about that. In today's video, we're going to go over some key levels that you need to pay attention to, especially if you're looking to trade this crazy madness that has happened right now. And I also want to talk about a few crypto reports that have come out recently that are essentially suggesting that what we're seeing right now could be the start of something incredibly massive. So if all that sounds good to you, you know what to do. If you are not subscribed, definitely consider it. We're going to go over all that. And of course, the big question, who's buying the dip anyway? Well, we may have our answers as well. Let's dive in. Let's have a look. So we've already seen the fact that we have broken out of this, right? And, there is some sort of support down here at around the $39,649 level. Now, will Bitcoin actually go back down to that level? Well, I'll talk about that in just a minute. You can see, though, that there are some major similarities, right? Especially the fact that we've actually broken above the 21 exponential on the daily. And you can see right here, the last time that we had this big of a major downtrend, all right, and Bitcoin finally broke above it, which was right here at around the $32,000 level, we essentially went on a crazy pump with really only one major correction, over 100% up to the $69,000 level. So can we do that again here? Well, there was this little bit of a fake out, right? But you can see that this fake out was a little bit different than what's happening right now, because this actually just slightly danced on top of the 21 exponential, where right here, we've clearly just blasted through it, right? So that's something that's a little bit different than the last fake out that we had. This looks like it had a lot more conviction. There was a lot more strength behind the move, and we got a lot higher than the actual moving average, right? And the other thing too that we were pointing out was we actually just flipped from the blue into the gray area right over here on the super guppy, and we know that usually this tends to form the green area, which obviously, as you guys can tell, once we go into the green, we generally stay there for quite some time, with the exception back here, we did have this little run in 2020. But also another thing, if we switch it to the daily, which I don't consider the daily to sort of be as important. I think the 3-day larger time frame, that's really what you want to look at. But you can see that, we are curving up, and there is that potential that we could be coming out of this red band as well. So we will be paying attention. But ultimately, I do think that the trend has started to change. Now, we had been talking, come on, guys, we were talking about this for how long? I explained to you that we were having these falling wedge patterns, and every single time Bitcoin put in something like this, we always had a breakout to the upside. So this is absolutely no different. We have had a breakout to the upside, and we're also being held down by this legacy trend right here. So if we take this resistance from where we had the 42,000 break from before, and we follow it over on the bottom, you can see we had some support resistance. And right here, top of our blue zone territory, we're just sitting under that resistance. That resistance is sitting at around $46,000 even for Bitcoin. But even crazier, let's talk about more similarities that could give us clues that Bitcoin is in fact ready and in a full recovery right now. So we did take this legacy trend all the way back here. This was from the top in July of 2019. We followed it all the way over here. We did have the resistance, right? We had that confluence. We also had the support. And even though we did slightly kind of fall below it, a little bit of a fake out right there. We have now built the support on top of it. So having a look sort of at just these moving averages right here, if you could see what happened. So essentially, people could be saying, oh, well, we're having this 100 move below this 200, over here on the daily, and that would be considered bearish. That would be like a death type of a cross, right? But look at the similarities this is like insane. I feel like we're looking in a mirror here, except not a mirror, a reversed mirror, because it's the exact same thing that we're looking at, right? So right here, look at this. We had the 50, right, crossing below the 100 and then crossing below the 200. Once we eventually bottomed and Bitcoin broke above this 50, we started going on that crazy rally. Now, keep in mind, just before that happened, we did in fact have the death cross of the 100 going below the 200. And if you have a look at what we're having right here, it almost looks like they want to do the same exact thing. But keep in mind, the last time that we had that cross, it was actually a precursor to a bullish move. So if I get rid of everything right here, just look at these similarities really quick, guys. So you have this 50 crossing below both of them, right? We have the 50 crossing below both of them. We have the 100 looking like it wants to cross below the 200. We have the 200 staying relatively neutral, in fact, slightly going up. Same exact thing happening right here. And as you can see, where we pumped essentially was from bottom, as soon as we broke that to the top, we went up about 18% as soon as we broke through that level. So if we were to go through that level right now, 18% would actually bring us almost to about where it is right now. That level sitting at around $50,000 with the 18% level sitting at around $50,000. So just judging by this chart right here, seeing the confluence, seeing sort of the fact that we're following in these same things again, I would sort of put a little bit of potential resistance, let's say right here, okay, at around 48,000, with the next area right here around 52,350. And I consider this right here to be the most important level, because once we cross that level right there, not only have we matched the previous high, but if we go higher than that, now we're talking about putting in a higher high on the short time frame, on the daily time frame. And at that point, I think if we get above 52,000 and close above that, Bitcoin's going to a new all-time high relatively fast from that point. But I know what you're saying. Wait a minute. What about the pullback? Where does maybe Bitcoin, we were talking about sort of coming down to these levels. Now, are we actually going to come down and retest this legacy bottom here at around $36,000? I'm not 100% sure about that, but what I do honestly think is going to happen, not financial advice, guys, I do think we're going to close this CME futures gap right here. You can actually see that there is in fact a gap right down here. It's around $40,920 and it closes up at around 41,435. So I do believe, and can you see this gap right here? I don't know if you guys can see what I'm looking at right here, but essentially, where we had the price trading over the weekend on February 4th, when we opened on February 7th, there was this little gap right there. And if we do look back historically, for whatever reason, it could be a self-fulfilling prophecy, we do tend to fill those gaps. So I do think that minimally, we will at least be seeing Bitcoin come back down to about $40,750. And then from that point, if we do have that reversal, that's fine, not a problem at all. The one thing that I was noticing was that we did have the DXY falling, which I did personally consider a little bit bearish for the dollar, which is good for Bitcoin, right? And also the fact that Bitcoin has had two legacy confluences with the major bounce right here where we had both of them intersect. Even if we were to come back down to some of these crazy levels, you're still looking at the lowest Bitcoin going down to potentially now at this point with this reversal is maybe that $34,000 level. We might be able to see that again. Although I'm going to be honest, guys, I don't think we're going to go down to those levels, only because you could see the last time that we did have that crazy bounce. I mean, if we look at the previous, bounce from bottom to top, that was a 37% move. And if we look right here, we are still kind of looking at, that 38% move. So it's not impossible to sort of see a consolidation like we did back here, where Bitcoin could come down and bounce between 38,000, 42, maybe come down to that $36,000 level again. And then, sort of do what we did back here, making people think, that was just a fake out. And then we do end up putting in the giant double bottom like we've been talking about on the channel for months. Either way, guys, what I think we're setting up for is a massive move, and I do think that we are going to break a new all-time high by the end of this year. That's just my personal opinion. So, if you're worried about when should I buy Bitcoin, should I get in today, should I get in tomorrow, what if price does go down to the low 30s? At the end of the day, guys, it's still a phenomenal discount off the all-time highs, right? I mean, even where we're sitting right now, we're still sitting down 37%. And if you consider the fact that, if we zoom out here, we essentially have a Bitcoin target. Let me actually get rid of this before I expand it so you guys can see. We have a Bitcoin target all the way up here at around, around $190, $1,000. So if you even look at where we are right now, the growth to that point is 345%. And if you consider the fact that that could happen by the end of this year, early next year, hey, maybe you could get it for 34. Maybe you could even get it for 28 if we do the giant double bottom. But in my opinion, it is looking quite bullish for Bitcoin. We are out of the blue zone. And keep in mind, this is during a time where the S&P is kind of not really doing anything right now, right? So we're seeing Bitcoin have that decoupling. Now, let's talk about what is going on in a new report from Bloomberg. So they essentially said that Bitcoin is in fact poised for further growth despite starting the year with a massive correction. According to this Bloomberg report, they said Bitcoin may be uniquely situated for enduring price appreciation, well on its way to becoming global digital collateral. The firstborn crypto launched a revolution in digitalization of finance, which appeared in the early days. They also talk about Bitcoin's supply, how we only have 21 million, and they consider that to be, economically very appeasing and interesting for these, new people to get into. But they do talk about, rebounding over 40,000. However, they say that they're looking at the $40,000 level for Bitcoin as a floor rather than a ceiling, with the expected record high of $100,000 still in play. They say Bitcoin is more likely forming a floor than a ceiling, which means that range traders accustomed to the $30,000 to $60,000 level might be disappointed, because if we continue on this trajectory, we're going to end up breaking through a new all-time high. We'll see what happens in March. We obviously do have the Fed, the FOMC. They're going to meet again. They're going to talk about raising rates. But, I don't really think it's going to do much personally. Like I said, I'm calling their bluff on this one. So they say, according to the Outlook, the United States midterm elections in November and a potential war in Eastern Europe could mean Bitcoin has a relative advantage over other investment classes. They ruled out that the United States will likely enact a complete crypto ban. Obviously, they're not going to ban crypto. We know that. But Congress says that they will most likely embrace and regulate it moving forward. So now let's turn our attention to the second report. This was published by KPMG. Now, if you don't know who these guys are, KPMG International Limited is a British-Dutch multinational professional services network, and they are one of the big four accounting organizations. Now, this particular thing that they published, this report, was called The Pulse of FinTech, where the firm tracked and analyzed developments and investments within the financial technology sector. Now, they had a lot to say about crypto and blockchain. Now, going from 5.5 billion in 2020, investments in crypto and blockchain space rose to more than 30.2 billion in 2021. So this shows that more companies have recognized that crypto and its technologies have the potential to play roles in the modern financial system. Now, they say despite the outright ban of crypto over in China, technologies that help to regulate crypto have actually become a relatively hot area of investment. While the U.S. continue to attract the vast majority of investments in RegTech, or regulation technology, Europe is well positioned to see growth heading into 2022. Now, according to the KPMG report, the universe of blockchain applicability has expanded in 2021 and will in 2022. The year spurred more interest in a wide range of blockchain applications, including multi-jurisdictional blockchain use cases for data. Now, because of this, they also predicted that crypto will attract investors of all types. They say, including retail investors, as well as corporate and institutional investors, because of the increase in use cases. They also concluded that Singapore-based crypto investments grew more than tenfold, but that's not even the biggest news. So, KPMG in Canada has added an unknown amount of Bitcoin and Ethereum to its corporate balance sheet. Now, the last time we saw Bitcoin generally bottoming around that $30,000 level, right? And we've been talking about the similarities. We found out that guys like Tesla were buying, Elon Musk, right? Michael Saylor had been accumulating, and a few others. Well, it looks like these guys have been buying the dip as well. Now, they did decline to disclose exactly how much they did buy, but they did say that they took a very prudent approach in the investments. So according to Kunal Basin, the co-lead in Canada, he says this is just part of the investments that we're making overall as firms in the crypto space, including our services and capabilities. We believe in the long-term value of crypto assets. We've been advising a lot of our clients in terms of how they should be thinking about it, and this is just essentially putting our skin in the game. The audit, tax, and advisory service provider will continue to build its capabilities in decentralized finance, metaverse, and blockchain gaming. They say our goal really is to enable institutional participation in Web 3.0, which refers to the next generation of the internet. So, in summary, they say, as digital assets witness more institutional adoption, financial service providers have become increasingly engaged in the space. For example, you even have some of KPMG's competitors, Ernst & Young Global. They told MarketWatch last year that they are building technologies and designing programs for some major banks and other key financial institutions to tokenize financial assets. Now, we have seen tokenization being absolutely huge. We've seen the metaverse kind of theory coming into play, right? Decentralized finance. We also know NFTs have exploded. They are here to stay. Maybe not in their current form, but I do believe that they are here to stay. And crazy enough, we had Justin Kan. So if you read what this guy is, essentially he is one of the co-founders of Twitch, massive gaming network. I'm sure you guys are familiar with it. He says, yeah, I built Twitch. It has millions of users, and gaming NFTs are way bigger. This is huge. So this got over 1,906 retweets, 310 quoted tweets, and 11.1K likes. And I bet you it's even higher because I had this loaded earlier, which makes me think to myself, I still cannot believe how unbelievably undervalued, in my personal opinion, Phantasma is. I don't know if it's like the marketing or, there's just not enough big VCs backed in, that are in Phantasma shilling it. I don't know what the deal is, but these guys are absolutely massive. We've gone over them on the channel. I think what these guys are doing for gaming with Pavilion Hub and their smart NFTs is absolutely incredible. I think it's only a matter of time until people actually realize how awesome the technology behind this is. And, without talking about it too much, also just talking from a technical standpoint, we could see a little bit of resistance right here as we are hitting the top of this blue zone territory for Phantasma. But ultimately what you could see is, we've just been putting in these sort of ascending triangles. And if we take what we have right here and extend it all the way out, it really looks like we're just building, let me clean this up a bit, essentially we're just sort of bouncing between these two levels. And, it looks like right around that almost $4 level seems to be that psychological barrier. But I do believe at some point, if we do continue, because look, we did flip this resistance into support. And if we follow it all the way up here, we also have support as well. So the structure for this is being built quite well. And, considering it has, I think, below a $300 million market cap, I still believe that Phantasma, it's like a 20x, guys. I mean, not financial advice, but it's just incredible that, this is not more explosive than it is, considering what these guys are doing. But I think over time, as more people develop on it, I think they're going to realize, the power that Phantasma actually has, which is why it's definitely one of my most bullish holds for this year. For me, it maybe, if not the most bullish hold as of right now. Maybe something else will come out, but just wanted to give Phantasma a shout out because I just really feel like it's just a super undervalued gem out there. Not financial advice, obviously it just pumped, don't buy it because I talked about it, but just seriously, I hold some, so full disclosure, not financial advice. But, getting back to the real topic, we have steered clear a little bit of the altcoins because, let's be honest, Bitcoin got hit, altcoins got hit harder. But getting back to Bitcoin and just realizing, why I still hold Bitcoin, I believe in Bitcoin. I didn't sell any Bitcoin. In fact, I bought more Bitcoin during the dip, is because Bitcoin truly is the people's money. Now, you might be familiar with, the whole freedom convoy, the cohort of Canadian truckers protesting the end of COVID-related mandates in the country. Without getting too political, I think you know what's going on right now. But it turns out that, they had raised $7.8 million in donations at GoFundMe, but then GoFundMe ended up freezing their accounts on Friday night, alleging violations of their terms of service. So they said GoFundMe supports peaceful protests, but this fundraiser is now in violation of the terms of service, which prohibits the promotion of violence and harassment and has been removed from the platform. So obviously there were reports of violence and police and unlawful activity and things of that nature. So in this statement, GoFundMe also said donors who wanted a refund had to submit a request until February 19th. Otherwise, the money would be sent to other credible and established charities. Now, there was a major backlash. They changed it and they just said, you know what? We're just going to instantly and automatically refund everyone who donated. But there is a bit of a problem with this, and that, again, is that censorship, right? The middleman not only taking a fee, taking a cut of the money sent, but now saying that they don't agree with what these guys are doing. Now, I'm not getting political. This has nothing to do with right or wrong, what they're doing, what they're not doing. I'm just saying the fact that you have people who willingly want to donate, who want to support a cause, and these middlemen are coming in, taking a fee, and then telling you that, no, you can't donate. We're going to donate to other charities. And then only after backlash, they decide that they're going to send it back. Well, I am happy to say that Bitcoin for Truckers over at Tallycoin has now successfully raised 12.5 Bitcoin, or in US dollars, that's about $542,000. And yeah, this was all done through Bitcoin, and no one's able to stop this. No one's able to, prevent them from receiving this Bitcoin. It's, not censorship, or is censorship resistant, right? And the cool thing about this is you can actually send it anonymously, and you can send it on-chain and on the Lightning Network. So if you are interested in supporting the truckers, even though GoFundMe has their own agenda and plans, you can do that. And you could do it via Bitcoin. So that's over at tallyco.in. I'm not going to put the link in the description because I don't want this video to get demonetized or banned or shut down because I put the link. But if you guys want Bitcoin for Truckers, tallyco.in, you can find it over there. Really, really cool cause. And on that news, I think we can end today's video. So let me know what you think about everything that's going on right now. Do you think that this is just a dead cat bounce? I personally don't think it is. I think it's emulating way too much of what we've already seen. We've seen way too much strength, way too much positivity, so much insane confluence across the charts. Like I said, if anything, we may have a pullback just to close the CME futures gap. If we do overshoot it a little bit, could we retest back into the $37,000, $38,000 level? I do think it's possible. However, I think the bears are in disbelief, and the same way that right now we're seeing a little bit of neutral fear and greed. People don't really know. Should we be greedy? Should we be fearful? We don't really know. Should we be buying? Should we be selling? Nobody really knows. I think that that's to be expected after a move like this. But ultimately, as I said, just a quick recap, if we just go over the confluence, breaking this 21 exponential moving average, potentially moving out of the red, already moving out of the blue over here on the super guppy into the gray area. The fact that we are seeing multiple falling wedges breaking out, this is the third one in a row, and the fact that we have something extremely similar happening on the daily moving averages, having, the 50 cross below the 100, 200, breaking above the 50, having the death cross 2 times over, people panicking, and then boom, rallying back up through both of them. Personally, I do think that Bitcoin will continue higher, but like I said, there is this little gap down here, so the potential of revisiting the low 40s to high 30s, still a possibility, but ultimately, I don't believe the trend has been broken, and I do believe the trend is your friend until the end. And yeah, guys, that is it for me today. So thank you so much for coming back to the channel. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't, slap a like, drop me a comment. Definitely love to hear about what you guys think is happening right now in the crypto space. So until next time, my name is K-Dub. This is CryptoZombie. And if you are looking to trade, things could get crazy after moves like this. Make sure that you watch the tutorials popping up right here, right now, and you can get over $8,000 in bonuses using the links below. So that's it for me. Until next time, stay crypto, and of course, peace out.